At the height of Rome's power, when emperors ruled millions and legions marched across continents, another empire was rising, quietly, rich, powerful, and connected to the world in ways Rome depended on. But today, almost no one talks about it. The world of empires. The ancient world was dominated by giants. To the west, the Roman Empire controlled the Mediterranean. To the east, Persia ruled vast lands. And in Asia, China thrived under powerful dynasties. But between these great powers, there was a hidden network of trade, connecting continents, cultures, and empires. And at the center of this network stood something unexpected. Rise of Aksum. This was the Kingdom of Aksum. Located in modern-day Ethiopia and Eritrea, Aksum wasn't isolated, it was perfectly positioned. It controlled access to the Red Sea, and with it, one of the most valuable trade routes in the world. From humble beginnings, Aksum grew into something extraordinary. Trade empire. Through its ports, especially Adulis, Aksum connected Africa to India, Arabia, and even Rome. Gold, ivory, incense, exotic animals, all passed through its hands. Roman merchants traded here, Indian ships docked here, and wealth flowed in like a river. Aksum didn't just participate in global trade, it controlled it. A modern empire. Aksum did something remarkable. It minted its own coins, gold, silver, bronze, just like Rome. This wasn't just symbolic, it meant economic power, stability, and independence. Few African civilizations at the time reached this level. Aksum was not just wealthy, it was advanced. Military power. But wealth alone doesn't build an empire. Aksum had power. Its armies crossed the Red Sea, expanded into Arabia, and defended its dominance. At its peak, Aksum stood alongside the greatest powers of the ancient world: Rome, Persia, China, and Aksum. Religious shift. Then came a transformation. Aksum became one of the first major empires to adopt Christianity. Under King Ezana, the empire changed, politically, culturally, spiritually. Long before much of Europe, Aksum had already entered a new era. Decline. But no empire lasts forever. Trade routes began to shift, the environment changed, and new powers emerged. Aksum's influence slowly faded, not with a dramatic fall, but with a gradual silence. Why it's overlooked? So why don't we hear about Aksum as often as Rome? The answer lies not in its importance, but in how history is told. Some stories are repeated, others quietly fade. Aksum was never insignificant. It was simply not centered in the narrative we're used to. The Kingdom of Aksum was not erased. It stood among giants, shaped global trade, and left a legacy that still exists today. It reminds us that history is far bigger than what we're taught, and that some of the greatest empires are the ones we rarely talk about. If this story surprised you, there are many more like it. Subscribe, because history is deeper than it seems.